Hi everyone, my name is Deborah Ramos, and this is my simulation reflection for marketing strategy. So this was my overall performance. I have displayed my total shareholder return and my cumulative net income for the past 10 years. For year 10, I ended with a cumulative net income of almost 31 million, a total shareholder return of 6.4, ending stock price of 86.43. My final cash balance was 26 million with no debt. I had three cars, an Alec car in the economy segment, a utility car, awesome, and a mid-tier family car, Alpha. So my performance, I would say, was really good, except for my last year of total shareholder return, which was kind of low compared to what I used to have. But I did have a steady growth and improvement in my cumulative net income, which placed second in our industry. Um, but I did a lot of work in the financial and marketing decisions, and I think that's what has improved my performance overall. So my top three best decisions, first was rebalancing production toward high demand models. I shifted production from lower margin or oversupplied vehicles towards stronger models like Alpha and Awesome. My second best decision was a strategic marketing investment. Using the focus groups and micro segmentation, I kind of tried to find what were the best advertising, like hot buttons. So using the focus groups and using the micro segmentation, I found what it is that people are expecting and what features they're looking for in my cars. What can I promote to them that they'll want to buy my car? And those themes were like safety, styling, and quality. And this matched what the market preferred. And I also used the test market to find out what car I should or what price I should market my cars for so that people will actually buy it. If I do it too much, like no one's gonna buy it. And my final one was cleaning up financing and boosting TCR. So I paid off my debt pretty early on. I think I paid it off in year 5 or 6 or somewhere around there. And I avoided using unnecessary CDs just in case like I needed my cash one way or another. I would have it there and I wouldn't be locked up in a CD. And I maintained those healthy cash reserves instead of it being invested. Although I did invest in CDs, I think 2 years, but after that, I didn't continue to invest in them. My three biggest mistakes, I'll say number one was my biggest mistake because it was something that was reoccurring. So I allowed my day's inventory to hit zero. This happened kind of a lot of times because I failed to recognize that if it's year 7 right now, I would have to invest to increase my capacity. But I failed to recognize that, and I thought it would change in the same year, and it wouldn't. So I continue to not really invest in making a capacity change, and that hurt me a lot and is still away from any sales that I could have had with the cars that I could have had, which led to my next point of overcapacity. I would still want to create a good amount of cars, and I was very flexible. So whenever I would produce my cars, I would say yes, be flexible, and they would produce more cars, and then that created an overcapacity charge, and I would pay that a lot. Um, the graph you see here is my last year where I didn't go over in capacity and I didn't have an overcapacity charge, but for the past few years I did. And my last point was early game alpha overproduction. I loved my alpha car. I invested so much in that car because the first 6 years or 5 years, I did really good with that car. I invested so much. I improved it. I was purchasing the focus groups for that. But I didn't create any changes in my other vehicles. And this is bad because I can't only be looking at one car. I have to look at all of them because if Alpha doesn't work out, then we can invest in another form in my other cars. So it just didn't work out with Alpha as much. But then when I started working with my other cars did do really good as well. Alrighty. For my competitor analysis, we'll start off with firm B. They maintained steady sales but did not aggressively upgrade or expand dealers. They didn't really threaten my core segments in my last 2 years, which were with economy and utility. So I found that competitive advantage to do better. For firm D, we both, as you can see on the graphic all the way at the bottom, we both had economy cars, but both of our cars were the only ones in the economy segment. And I noticed that Delete captured only a 6.7 share versus Alec, which had a 17.5. So I took advantage of this and invested a lot into the Alec car to make it attractive so that people can buy it because Delete didn't really have any good features. So I took advantage and I upgraded it, I invested into it, and I made it change. And then it did increase a lot of its unit share. And my last point was debt collection. Like I said earlier, I paid off my debt like in year 5 or year 6, and I noticed that the firms that had the highest amount of debt had the lowest stock price. And not saying that mine is like really good, but compared to if you have almost $10 billion in debt, the stock price was not really that good because, if you keep paying those interests, the interest accumulated on your debt is just going to hurt you more. So that's why I try to get rid of it as soon as I could. And I found that to be a competitive advantage. So overall, I gained a lot of confidence in reading financial statements, discovering what my consumer preference was, looking at segmentation data, choosing what are the right advertising themes, finding out what are the best advertising themes, and identifying competitive weakness. Thank you.